Everything's reworked! Hi, Zizaran here with a big update. This is going to be covering how I felt about PoE 2 and all the update we got on that, and also the Ultimatum news, which is the upcoming expansion now on the 16th of April. So let us start a little bit here with the PoE 2 news. First of all, it's announced that we are getting new weapons, and they have cool implicits. The spear looks really cool. It looks like they said they were going to let us do both ranged and melee on the same weapon, kind of, and some of the skills they've shown us both at ExileCon when they first showed, like, it looks a little bit like combining bow and melee in one weapon, right? With one of the attacks being something where you like jump into the sky and shoot the ground, kind of. There's some like cool combo attacks, and they showed a lot more today with the new spear type, and then you have crossbow being added as well, with what potentially sounds like the most annoying mechanic of all time, with like with the shot. They did address it already. They said it might not stay like this, but basically it calls out every time you change the shot. But I mean, who knows, right? Maybe you won't be changing that much. Either way, both of these really cool to get new base types. I do wonder how this is going to fit into balance. I can't imagine how much of a nightmare balancing Path of Exile is with the huge skill tree and all the new things they keep adding. But both of these things are really cool, and I'm excited that they keep adding so much. Quality of life on boss fights, like the bar at the top just looks incredibly smooth, and I'm very, as somebody that loves doing boss fights and farming bosses, I think that's like really cool. I would like it to be something that you can turn off in case people don't like it, because while I love it, not everyone does, probably. But either way, really cool feature. And just like the models and lighting and the feel of PoE 2, it looked great. And they did comment, like, obviously they were playing pretty slow. They did say that fast gameplay still would be available. And the health bar is changing. It seemed like it's going to be like afflicted by ailments a little bit. The new town as well, moving like that, just looks really cool. So obviously the PoE 2 stuff is very far away. They said it's 100% not this year. So maybe, if we're lucky, 2022. Worst case scenario, probably 23. But I'm still hoping for either a late 2022 release or early 23 is my current prediction. Late 22 or early 23. We are going to move on to Ultimatum, however, because PoE 2 is a long way away, but Ultimatum is coming up now in just a few days. I am obviously going to be doing league starters and stuff like that, if you were worried. This looks like an amazing league. I already really enjoyed Ritual. The only thing about Ritual was like maybe it didn't scale that well. It was amazing for your first character, right? Really fun. It felt really rewarding as early as Act 1, which most league mechanics usually don't. And then very quickly tapered off, didn't it? At least for a lot of people in tier 13s to tier 16, specifically if you're a player where you really value your time and what you're doing. I'm very excited for Ultimatum, because it seems like the ultimate risk versus reward. It seems like they're trying very hard that the highest tiers, like you're going to be able to, they said something, if I remember correctly, I think they said you were going to be able to like go again 10 times at the peak in maps, like maybe in tier 16s or something. They get 10 more. Like, you sure you want to go further? You sure you want to go further? Bro, it's getting rippy here. Okay, you're dead, Ziz. +1 rip, and you guys get some more content. I'm hoping that it's a crazy rippy league where you're sitting there like, this is so juicy. It's so juicy. Maybe that's even on step 7, and it's so juicy that you just have to go for it and you actually die. I want to see a lot of death. It's so entertaining. I love when I die a lot. I love when all of my friends are dying around me. And it just makes for really cool content, and just very enjoyable when there is a reason to take that risk as well. That probably sounds bad out of context, but you know what I mean. This also does bring something up. This is kind of medium core. So I'd love to hear from all my viewers that prefer playing soft core, how you guys feel about it, because this is sort of similar to Heist, where, you do actually lose stuff. If you are playing on soft core and engaging with this mechanic, you don't get some of the rewards. You get nothing if you fail this. If you have pushed yourself too far, you do get nothing. So I'd love to hear your guys' view on that, and if you guys like it or not. It does look like there might be some sort of boss fight here as well. But I'm not assuming that it's going to be anything like the level of Maven or anything like that. I'm expecting maybe something along the lines of a Shabi and probably maybe some RNG involved too, although hopefully never again something like Owl, because that was obviously very RNG. Other than that, we have the Val Reliquary keys and stuff like that, and that looks really, really cool. I've been a big fan of Reliquary keys. I would love to see probably every reliquary key still in the game, even the ones that give Eternals and stuff. Even if it was 10 times rarer than a mirror, I think it would be really, really exciting to just have it almost non-existently drop in the game. And then if it drops and it gives you something trash, I mean, it's still in the game. It's still kind of exciting. Because they are buffing Aziri. They are buffing Uber Aziri. I'm incredibly excited about that. They're changing so many things this league. But we'll talk about that in the rework phase. But obviously the Aziri and Uber Aziri being reworked, particularly exciting for the Valve Reliquary key that is going to be dropping in Ultimatum. So hopefully that means that this favor is going to be exciting. The Acuity from Aziri, Uber Aziri is going to be exciting. And yeah, I have some high hopes. Everything is going to be the same drop rate. So when you open a Valve Reliquary key, you are going to have the same chance to drop Aziri's Disfavor as a Rebuke of the Val or anything. Just every item, same weighting. So that's cool. There are loads of new skills. I can't remember the names of all of them. It's getting quite late, obviously. The Blood Suck skill looks awesome, and I really want to make that my league starter if possible. I hopefully want to make a league starter for that at least. Now, again, do remember, if you're ever following a league starter for a new skill, it is often quite risky because could be trash, could be OP, who knows? Mystery skill. Let's talk about the reworks. This is what I'm the most excited about, and honestly, I feel like a lot of my prayers were answered. They finally nerfed Talisman, which is something that was obviously too strong and you... Wait, no, it wasn't. That was a really weird one, and I want to start with that. That was honestly, for me, a little bit of a case of like, he's kind of out of touch because I played a large amount in this league. I think I played slightly under 1,000 hours this league, and I didn't find that many really OP talismans, and I checked all of them because I do agree they are currently exciting. And I do agree that it is strong that you can now anoint corrupted items. That is strong. That's great. However, you can't get catalyst quality on influenced, or sorry, on talismans. So that's very big, right? Even if you turn it into a talisman yourself with Jorgen and research, it loses catalyst quality. So there's no way to get that. And you can't have influenced stats at all. Even if you can't turn an influenced amulet into a talisman. So the amulet slot is already quite powerful. So being able to influence talismans is probably just a good thing in the way it should be. It probably shouldn't get nerfed, in my opinion, in a game that is already right now struggling a little bit with exciting drops. That is pretty much my only gripe with this expansion. Obviously, they do have to tackle some problems at a time, and they can't address every problem with PoE in one patch. That would, I think most people think that would be quite hard. However, my god, so many changes. I was literally like, there's like that meme of like the old dude, and it's like multiple things are happening, and then he gets more and more excited until he's like, I can't remember what the meme is called, but it was a little bit like this, because if you watched, for those of you that do watch my YouTube videos regularly, nearly all of this is stuff I've been like asking or hoping for in some way, with like more exciting drops. Especially the incursion stuff being reworked with, you know, the things you do in the temple actually affect shit now. And this specifically is in like every incursion video I have, and every time I'm on a podcast with devs, I'm like, why isn't this the way it should be an incursion? So very, very cool. I'm so excited. There's so many insane reworks. They specifically addressed that which is again something I've asked for so many times, but the best place to get stuff now is the core mechanic itself, which is a philosophy I've been like spamming everywhere. I talked about it so much. I'm like, the best place to get incursion items should always be incursion. The best place to get catalyst should always be metamorph, right? It shouldn't be anywhere else. It's maybe okay that you get things in other places, but it should never be the best place to get another league mechanic should never be delirium. It really shouldn't, in my opinion. And again, just my opinions. Feel free to disagree and let me know why you disagree. But I'm a big fan of the league itself having a very strong identity, and if it doesn't, maybe consider removing it. That's not a bad option either. There is a lot of bloat in Path of Exile right now, but I'm a very big fan of either of those two roads, where you either put it in as like the main place where you get it, or you remove it, and then you can like remove that core mechanic and maybe put the rewards in with other loot if you really want to keep it. There are also new Atlas bases. They accidentally leaked a energy shield recharge ring while showing a chaos ring. So we have 2 new bases confirmed at least. Excited to see what other bases are coming. I think that's a really, really good way to make things like exciting to drop again. Obviously, like especially early in the league can be very, very exciting, particularly if you're hardcore players to drop a Vermilion ring, particularly in a race where you're trying to get beefy and trying to avoid your life bar hitting 0. Something that I'm particularly excited about was the way they're doing unveiling. Unveiling now basically, it's no longer a crafted mod. When you unveil something, you can't just remove it again. It goes onto the item, which is really, really cool because what that does is it'll let you unveil something that will go to full power basically of the crafted version, and then you can craft something with your crafting bench. So I'm personally very excited for that. I think it's a cool way to improve the unveiling system. Items like Paradoxica is probably going to be really, really cool in this league with the slightly added power with the unveils. There's also changes to Blight. Quantity is now going to affect Blight chests. So that should just be straight up a buff, assuming from the way they said everything that a white map will drop the same as what they dropped before. But now the chests are just going to be affected by quantity in some way, so they're going to be dropping more. Very, very exciting, and Blight should be super rewarding now. One of the biggest changes is the couple of different lab changes, and there are a few. First of all, it's going to be way easier to get trials because you can open a offering to the goddess in your map device, and that doesn't open Uber Lab, it opens a trial. So once you have like 4, and you have maybe from a few other sources too, you've gotten more offering to the goddess, so you have 10, you can actually slug those in your map device and hopefully get the trial that you are looking for. And that's going to be very exciting because we can get Uber Lab very quickly then. But there's more. There are more changes to Lab. The enchant is completely reworked, and you now in Uber Lab get the choice between 3 helmet enchants, a glove, and a boot. And you actually get to see all this before even choosing what slot to put it on. You click on the font, and it'll choose, or it'll show you these 5 different enchants, and you can choose, oh, regen on boots. Ooh, but it's Volatile Dead +1 enchant. Oh, and we're probably going to see some really, really cool highlights of somebody getting, 2 really expensive enchants in the same run, like Berserk and Volatile Dead +1. I can't remember what sells for the most, right? But you get the idea. We're going to get some cool sad times highlights that we're going to enjoy. But either way, amazing change. And that lets you have so much more choice over what helmet you're putting it on. Like, you don't need to click on the helmet and then choose the enchant. So you could choose, oh, this enchant's really good on an Indigon, or oh, this enchant's really good on my boots. So it's such a great way of doing it. It's going to make both Gift of the Goddess and normal and twice enchanted just insanely strong, because obviously you're just getting more uses off the font. There are new boss uniques coming as well. Katarina is going to be dropping a staff similar to Paradoxica, and there is a new staff from Aziri, which looks really, really cool. It's basically supposed to let you be Aziri with giving you her Stormcold and her Flame Blast. It would be really, really cool if sometimes you get the double Flame Blast as well, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. So I'm really excited for a lot of these changes. Until Ritual League, I was feeling a little bit burnt by PoE. I felt like the most exciting thing for me in a game like this has always been like drops and things being exciting to find, and more importantly having the feeling that something can drop, and I've been feeling that disappear a little bit. Ritual with the huge expansion bringing that back a lot for me. Like the map passives were really, really cool, and just a really, really good expansion. And this with a lot of the reworks really, really bringing back a huge fire to my heart and the things that I really love in Path of Exile. Obviously, there's still a long way to go with a lot of cool things they can still do for the game. But honestly, even just hearing Chris say that they do want the game to go on for decades, that honestly, I love it. It's I'm very excited for this, and I had very low expectations because Ritual was so good. I've kind of gotten used to the good trash, good trash, good trash league system, but it does sound like we're maybe getting good. And yeah, I'm very excited for that personally. I hope you guys are too. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you guys were excited for, what you were not excited for. Keep a lookout over the weekend. We're going to be doing PoE University. And then as soon as we can, we're going to start pumping out League starters after the patch notes are out. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Sub if you like the video. More importantly though, try to die less than I do.